on YouTube. Let me get that live on Instagram in a second here. Looks like we're going live on Insta, and we're live on Insta.
Ooh, there you
Looks
go.
like we can go ahead and start the show, right? You guys ready to start the show?
Yeah.
All right. Oop. What's going on? Was good Monday evening, the day after the Super Bowl. We're here back at you. We're gonna just go ahead and start collecting a few people that's gonna be trickling in on our live pod here. Wanted to go ahead and say what's up real quick. We got a special guest, local hometown boy, just over here in Fort Worth, Haltom area. Actually, you're like you're North
I'm in
Richland here.
Little Rock right now, though.
You're in Little Rock right now. That's my boy Curly. Is going to be joining us. He's going to be bringing an interesting take and interesting perspective on some conversations we're going to have a little bit later. But he also is like many people out there today struggling because of I think something happened last night. We had a little game that people were struggling with. How you doing, bro? How is
Oh man, I'm
Eric the Judah shooter?
exhausted. I'm tired, man. My whole week was long. We did Lunar New Year, it's the dragon, so we celebrated that at the
Mm-hmm.
So it's been like a whole weekend of drinking. I think yesterday was a little bit overboard. Kind of celebrated. I'm not gonna say I'm a hater, but I'm glad the Niners took that L though.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. So the first people. So shout out to Derek and Dennis Barcelona. They were on our second live stream. They were the first ones. Well, Dennis was the first one that hit up. I feel bad because he's such a nice guy. It's hard for me to like. I've kind of softened up on the Niners a little bit because I know some Niner fans around this area and shout out to Son and Cindy. I'm sorry.
Have you checked up on him yet?
I'm gonna leave him a little bit. I know he's a little sore today. He was
No, my Bay Area family, we love you. I don't know how much you this.
I know.
This L might be hurting. How many times is that? 3 times in a row in the Super Bowl. Lost all three.
Yeah.
3 different
Yes.
quarterbacks.
Two to Kansas.
2 to Kansas.
So like 4 years ago, it was Trump versus Biden. 4 years ago, Trump versus Biden. It was Casey versus the Niners. Guess what's going down today? Oh, it's going down this year. 4 years later, same dang thing. I hope all the nasty stuff don't follow all that stuff though.
Nah.
So yeah, man. You guys put a little bit of money in? You guys get lucky?
I actually didn't bet. First time I didn't bet for the Super Bowl.
I've been hearing that with a lot of my homies too. They're like, no, I'm not gonna bet on this one. It's actually my first time in a long time. My girl put in a bet though. She tried to tell me she asked for 1,000, but we put in 100. Man, a win's a win.
I did play some squares and won that.
I never
in what?
understood
Oh, in
how
the
that
squares?
works. How does that work? I see, like, I get invites to play that all the time, but I'm not hit to the squares.
I mean, it's self-explanatory. It's just go by the numbers, You just pick the right numbers and hopefully.
Is that like the end of the game score? Is that what that is?
Well, each quarter, something like that.
Okay.
They do it by quarters, so not bad.
Yeah, I'm just trying to move some people over to the live stream from Instagram. So if you are on Instagram right now, and if you're watching us, it's the best idea is to move over to YouTube, just because I'm able to see your comments over here, but I can't see it and I can't post it on YouTube. So if you are on Instagram watching this right now, please consider moving over youtube.com/@coldricemedia. But yeah, so what's your guys' initial thoughts as far as the game last time? I mean, let's say just the game itself. I mean, the first half I thought it was boring as hell. To be very honest, I was sitting there like, this is boring. Defensive matchup, and like I've never been a fan of like defensive matchup. I want points.
Yeah.
Especially that, right? So what was the mood at your guys' parties when all this stuff was going down? Like at least in the first half.
We was actually just not really paying attention. until because everybody's were like complaining about that defense stuff, you know.
The defense, which defense?
I mean,
both of them, man. Both of
them
them played well. That secondary for the Chiefs, man, they got them long arms. They were getting their hands on all the balls. Well, you know,
pause.
no pun intended.
Pause. They were getting all the balls.
They were getting their hands on all of them Niner balls.
It looked like some of them Niners be like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready for that. Come get this."
Do you guys really, you know, I mean, there's been conversations around the whole script and all this stuff, right, for the whole NFL season, but it keeps on changing. It was supposed to be like the Niners and the freaking Ravens, right? And then just because of the colors and everything, but then I don't know how they were going to be able to relate it to the Chiefs versus. I mean, this is just both red at that point. It was at one point I didn't know what fan base was cheering for what, because they were all just
that whole stadium was filled in red. I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool.
Do you guys think anything about the possible just scripting of this whole thing? Is there anything to that?
What do you mean the script, like the storyline?
The script that is, yeah, just the storyline. They're supposed to happen like this, you know. I mean, there's too many things that came into play. Like you had they said they were talking about the trophy, or like the actual visual for the Super Bowl, right? It was purple and reddish.
Red.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
So it automatically, and then they tied it to the previous years. And I think 2 or 3 years ago, it was the Bengals and the Rams, and it had those colors. And then it was last year, it was, you know, similar to the matchup with KC and Philly. And this year it started looking like that. Mm-hmm. So that's basically what they're talking about. It didn't work out. It looked like it was going to be the Ravens and the Niners at first, right?
Yeah, I thought it was. But I think what happened was Taylor Swift joined the program and they had to rewrite everything. You know, like, oh no, we got to promote. You know, she's gonna be big. She's dating Travis Kelce. She's gonna be on screen majority of the time. I think I've seen her about how many times she popped up yesterday.
Did you keep count on that? Right?
No, bro, I stopped too drunk.
I stopped counting. I was, because I counted how many times I went like this, because I had my hat on and I didn't want to see it, bro. I mean, they're putting her on when KC was on defense. I was like, man, what's the reason? They're putting her on when she wasn't even on. They would pan up there and she was gone to the bathroom or something. So I stopped counting at around like 7 or 8 because I was just tired of it. I was like, man. But she, you know, she was there. She was there to like bring the money, I'm sure. Have you guys seen the numbers for it? Have you guys seen the numbers as far as like people watching it?
Did they break a record or not?
I don't know. It could be, just because she brought that crowd. Who knows? What do you think about the Taylor Swift? Me and E talk about this all the time. What do you think about Taylor Swift joining the NFL?
I mean, I don't. It's not gonna bring. I mean, what is it gonna bring? Like more females watching the NFL or what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
I think enough. I mean, I don't have a problem with her though. I kind of like Taylor Swift.
That's cool.
I don't have a problem.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. All right. So I guess we'll see you again next time, buddy. But I'm sitting here like, man, get this brought off my screen. You just go ahead and sing on that stage.
She brought Ice Spice with her too. Like, what's Ice Spice got to do with it? I didn't even know they were friends.
All this stuff was like circulating with her, like throwing up like demon stuff and upside down.
No, I saw that. I was like,
seen that one, right?
Yeah,
who knows?
She's just trying to get super hip now. You know, she's already cool.
Right? She's about to go Doja Cat on us.
Yeah.
Is she gonna go? Oh no, lose her eyebrows. So, lost my headphone. So So, Usher for the halftime. What was the feelings around that? Let's talk about that.
I felt like I was in the club.
I enjoyed that. It took me back. You know, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, he did good.
It was nostalgic, huh?
Yeah,
it was just like, oh man, I remember the shit. And then
we had a bet. You know, Big. You know, Big was there. He actually put a prop bet on. Mm-hmm. Usher was not going to take off his shirt.
Oh, he took off his shirt, huh?
Yes. Yeah. So he says he lost the bet. He put in a bet. with I guess his girl, you know.
Uh-huh.
So if he took off the shirt, then Big had to take off his shirt.
Oh,
It was weird. It was weird.
was it weird? Did he really go with it?
Yeah, they bet. Cola actually put in the bet too, the prop bet, that he wasn't going to take off his shirt.
You
Oh,
know,
so there was an actual prop bet.
Yes, there was actual prop
Yeah.
bet. For
Oh, I thought it was like a friendly bet between among two peoples. Oh shit!
No,
no,
That's
it was actually they went online and put in a bet for that.
Oh, they had to go
What the
online.
hell?
It wasn't at the casinos though. You couldn't take those bets at the casino, right?
I don't know. They just did it on. I mean, I'm not sure.
You were there over the weekend?
Who? No.
No, you were at a friend's house, right?
Yeah, I was at a
That's where
friend's
you guys
house.
watched it?
We had like a
Okay.
little Super Bowl party thing. So
Yeah,
No.
my little party. I could even remember. I felt like the third quarter went by hella fast. Because when I looked back up at the screen, it was like 9 minutes or 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I was like, "Oh shit, what the hell's going on?" And I looked at the score. I think they had just missed a field goal, right? They scored and missed a field goal, the extra
yeah,
point.
that was that field goal.
yeah,
I missed that whole thing. I didn't even see it. I just looked at the score. I was like, "What happened?" And everybody's like, "Oh, he missed the field goal." I was like, "Oh god."
Who scored
we
on
go.
that? Was that wasn't that touchdown thrown by the wide receiver, right?
To McCaffrey? No, wait.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't
But
know.
I think it was.
No,
I
it was
didn't watch it.
no, it
I
was
missed that whole thing.
the touchdown that was thrown to Juwan Jennings. He should have been like if the Niners would have won, I think he should have been MVP. He was involved in like the two
Yeah.
scores, the two big scores. That would have been interesting. Yeah. But so you guys were feeling Ursher. You guys like all the people that he brought out. I mean, Alicia was out there repping. I know
Yeah,
Swiss
she
Beats
was
was kind of looking at it sideways, like what's
He's like,
what's
"Whoa,
up?
he's touching her booty.
Yeah.
He's
What's
touching her
what's-
waist. This
I mean, who wouldn't, right? I mean, what? You have that
take
chance.
advantage. Plus, you're getting paid hella for it, probably.
Yo, that. Hey, did you guys hear that Ursher wasn't even getting paid for that? There was
Oh, he did
something
it for
where,
free?
like,
I don't
Oh.
think. Yeah, I don't think they pay any performers. That's like
Yeah,
one.
no.
Yeah, I think that's an issue about that. So,
mhm.
Oh, I never knew that.
so it's
Well, they're
like
just doing it
I
for
mean,
fun.
it's, you know, I guess people like the performers are like it's an honor for them to do the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
So they don't really pay. They haven't paid performers. Might need to look that up though, right?
No, I did see something to where it's like some sort of a rule to where they don't get paid or something like that, which is, I guess, I mean, if you're doing all that stuff for free, but then you got like, you're not spending
It's like
any
free
money.
promotion, right? And bringing your stuff back, you know.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
the-
he's having a residency in Vegas, from my understanding, and that Lovers and Friends.
Oh yeah,
that
that's
Lovers
gonna
and
be in
Friends.
Vegas.
Did you see the lineup on that?
Yeah, that's just crazy. I wanted to go, but that thing sold out so fast. I was like, man.
Yeah.
Plus,
Yeah.
I didn't even know when the tickets dropped, so I missed that all completely.
Yeah, no, that
Before I
lineup,
even thought about, man, I want to go to that.
I don't think they have enough time to perform because you see how
there's
stacked-
so many people on that.
it looked like a rave, a 3-day rave into like just one night. That's really what it looked like. Are you going, Curl?
What?
Didn't you guys try to put in?
I don't know. I think Wendy was talking about going, but
Mm-hmm.
it might be too expensive for me.
Well, the only tickets right now, I'm pretty sure, are going to be up there. They're going to be up there.
I think,
So
yeah, retail GA was like 300, I think.
yeah. So I think like who was in that? Like, I think we could say any name and they would probably be on there. I heard like Mace had a big
Any
problem
name
about-
except for R. Kelly. If R. Kelly was out, he would have been on that list. R. Kelly would have
Yeah,
been
I
on
think
there.
R. Kelly would have been pissing on some people in the
Mhm.
crowd. No, they had
It's
like
something
I mean
on
they had.
stage.
You could say Nelly, Tank. Who else?
It
Ashanti
was
was
a lot.
supposed to be on there.
Ashanti,
It's like-
yep. Ja Rule.
Like 50
Um,
50 performers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Janet Jackson.
Johnny's gonna be on. No, no. Really?
You said name
Yeah.
anybody, they'll be on there.
Yeah, probably. Who knows, man?
Hey, might just pop up. Get a
Damn.
surprise.
Oh, speaking about Janet Jackson, I didn't even know that was Jermaine Dupri on stage. I thought that was
Yeah,
CeeLo
that was
looking like a
JD.
Oompa Loompa. I was like,
Who's
what?
so? What's homeboy's name from? I can't forget. What's homeboy's name from? Black Eyed Peas. The
Oh,
head guy.
Will I Am. He
Will
was
I
on
Am. He
too,
was
I
up
think.
there too. He with that
Was
little.
he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had that thing on. So what?
Oh.
JD was up there. Will I Am was up there. Her.
Yeah,
Her.
she did. Ooh, that was a
When
big
her
one.
came up. I was like, that was my favorite part.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting her, but then all of a sudden, oh yeah, Bay Area ties. Okay, cool. She was up there, just banging, just.
Mhm.
And then what? Luda, and then and then John and Alicia.
Yeah, Little John, that was cracking. So I was like talking about how it brought you back. That's basically what they played at the clubs when I just turned like 22 or something like that.
Right.
The A was taking over the scene. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that was around that time. Like when like them Bay Area boys were talking about after the hyphy movement, the industry went to the A and just found everything down there. And that's around that time. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So yeah, I think so. Would you guys rate it? Like, I mean, was it better than last year's?
Riri's?
Dre,
I didn't.
Dre and Eminem. Oh no,
No, that was Riri. It's Rihanna last year.
Last year was Rihanna.
Was Rihanna?
She was on that moving platform. That was pretty tight though.
Okay. Last three. We had Dre and the Clan, Rihanna, and Usher. Rank them.
I'll take Dre first. That's the best one.
Yeah, I mean, had the boys on there.
I gotta put Riri above Usher. You know.
Yeah,
I like
the whole thing. I don't
Riri's
know
hot,
any.
man. You can't, you know.
Yeah, Riri's filthy though.
I go Dre, Riri. I go Dre, Usher, and Riri. Just because Riri didn't bring no one.
She don't need to.
She carried.
Yeah, she
carried,
did the whole show. Yeah,
I like to see other casts. I mean, it's you had Alicia on there, and you had the home and the whole nostalgia. Just it took me back to where I was like, yeah, I remember this track, and I was hype on every single one of them. But it looked like for a minute he was only singing maybe like 65% of the time. He looked like he was about to pass out one moment, then I'm just coked up and got back up. That boy can still move at that age, man.
Yeah, he was on roller skates too. I was like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, that was nice.
I brought out the roller skates.
That was nice when he came out with the roller skates.
I thought Mayweather was about to be right behind him. Come on, Floyd, let's go. It's your turn.
Yeah, he had everybody on the field. People getting tossed in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I'd go. For me, I'd go Usher and then Rihanna. I mean, Rihanna can carry it, but at the same time, no.
Yeah.
How
as far as entertainment goes, for me, who was it? Definitely over Riri, the Usher. Usher's performance was cool. I mean, it's just maybe because it's nostalgic, but as far as like the performance goes, it wasn't too boring because I felt like the Rihanna one was pretty like stagnant. Like she wasn't really doing too much except for the dancers down below, and she was up top. I'm like, I don't know. They're all pretty good though.
I think she was pregnant last year when she was
pregnant. Yeah, and she was up there.
Okay, well, props to her. Good job. So E, you're going Dre, Usher, Riri. And then I'm doing the same thing, and Curl, you're doing Riri over the Usher. Okay, that's fine. Because Riri's still a baddie.
Everybody was like, "Oh, they left out Justin Bieber." I thought he was gonna be down there, but I was like, "What did he do with that old ass song?" But he could have been in the crowd.
Justin can carry his own.
Now you think? Let me ask this: if Kansas City just so happened to go back next year, you think they would let Tay perform or what?
Now that would be huge. I don't know though. Maybe
if they're still together.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I think he about to break up with her during the summer.
Yeah, no, it ain't he.
He might have dumped him.
He don't break up with no one, bro.
If they didn't win yesterday, I think she would have just dumped him in public.
She's already got the song queued up. She's already written it. The breakup song. It's called Travesty. It'll be called Travesty. Travesty. No, they're already talking about this. Is not gonna go to the next season. I don't see either, man. Because
it's
the next season.
They got their money. No, they got the publicists. So yeah, I mean, NFL got their dough. Taylor got her music back, and just got a lot of the the money from I'm assuming the merch sales of just all the Kelsey jerseys that are out there right now. There's got to be some sort of a conversation around there to where like they decided on her. I mean, she's not going to just fly out on every single game that he's at just to support. I mean, come on, really? Think so?
She got shit to do.
Yeah, I mean, she was like in Japan performing, and then off she came back. I don't know, but so let's move to the next game. I mean, to the end of the game. What do you guys think about that? It was a pretty good ending. I thought it was pretty good.
It was,
nice and competitive.
Man, the Chiefs did it though. I was like, whoa! That for a second, I was kind of nervous till Patrick Mahomes started running. I was like, cool. Run and get those first down, boys, because you guys need them. If you guys don't, man, it's a wrap. because they don't. If they score a field goal, that means they got another chance to score, right? And if they score, and that would be it for the Niners, because they would have got the ball back, right? So if they would have hit another field goal, they probably would have won. But then they
What's
get
that?
another chance
before overtime.
for overtime, because they changed the rules. Because I think the season when Cincinnati made it to the Super Bowl, they're like, man, no, we're not having that, because they made it all overtime games, and they won it by a field goal, right? They didn't give the other team a chance to score.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that rule kind of similar to how college goes?
No, so this one you get a chance to score 7.
Yeah, college. I think they take turn
at
they
the
get a
at the
chance.
30.
Yeah,
They start at the 30, and then you got to keep
that's new.
Even if you get a touchdown in college, the other team still gets a chance at the ball.
a chance to 7. Yeah, first one.
But in
kinda,
NFL, whoever gets the first touchdown wins.
The first touchdown, yeah. So
Yeah.
if they score a field goal, then you got a chance.
Field
to
goal, then
tie
the
game.
other team gets a chance. Or they can just score a touchdown and end it.
Yep. And then I was reading something on social media about some of the Niner fans just didn't even know about the rules. So I was like, how do you not know about the rules?
What you mean?
Your coach ain't tell you?
Bang, 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 bro.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
That's not really all they do is just read playbooks.
Yeah.
So KC again. I mean, official dynasty. They're going for the 3. For the back, the 3-peat next year. Did you guys see the logo for next year's? The logo for next year's what do you call it? Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Where's
I
it
saw
at?
that.
Where's it
It's
at next
pretty
year?
interesting. If they're going with the same kind of theory,
Yeah.
it looks like we might be going back to the Super Bowl, right?
You see the lime green? You see the
Yeah.
lime green in there?
We might be going back to the Super Bowl. But where did they say where it was going to be at? It looked like
I
New
don't know
Orleans.
where it is.
With that
Oh
design
yeah, it is
kind.
New Orleans.
Is
It's
it New Orleans?
next year. Yep.
Oh wow.
I want to go to
That's
New
fun.
Orleans. I've never been there. Heard it's popping.
That's next
That's
door
fun.
to us, right? It's 5 hours.
Oh, what? You guys could literally just drive down to New Orleans?
Yeah, what's up, Crow?
It's like 5-6 hours.
Ooh.
Man, that area
it is
gonna
coming
be-
up. Mardi Gras coming up.
That area is gonna be a mess, bro.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they're well. I mean, they hosted it last time. Wasn't that the last time when the sprinklers started going off, or like just the electricity went off or something like that?
That's the
in first
Niners,
half?
right? That's Beyonce. That
Wasn't it in New
I
Orleans?
think that was Atlanta. I think that was Atlanta.
Was that Atlanta?
Oh, it was Atlanta. Yep.
Well, congratulations to the Chiefs. Condolences to them Niner boys. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I can't say I was rooting for you or anything like that. I mean, Curly was trying to put in. Good thing you didn't put in that bet, bro.
Thing, right?
Good thing. I told you, man. But I could have been the other way also, where you can be like, I told you too.
Yeah.
But hey, real quick, I'm looking down over here, so I'm gonna take a quick break here on just what we're talking about, and then we're gonna go ahead and segue and transition to another conversation. One of the main reasons why I actually wanted Curl to hop on here. But I wanted to give a real quick, and I've been holding on to this. I've been pretty like just wanting to get into this. I got a care package from the homie Rod Harris. He is the owner of the King's Child. He follows the show and everything like that. He hits me up on the side, and we chop it up. We talk about a lot of different little things as far as like his clothing line and where he really wants to go with it, and basically his stories also. So I passed by the other day because he said, hey, come pick up some stuff. I appreciate you like supporting my business and everything, because I picked up a few things before from him, and I rock it all the time. I'm rocking it right now. It says use your gifts, and it really resonates to me, a lot of the stuff that's out there. So I will do a segment on our social to basically put his stuff out there. So be on the lookout for that. But I am actually pretty interested to see what he put in here. I have not seen this yet. So the first one we've got is got a shirt. It looks like a shirt. Pretty dope. I'm gonna have this thing on the site or on IG a little bit later. Throw in some collared shirt.
Oh, they got polos. Nice.
They got polos. And let's see what you guys. And looks like we got some shorts. Oh, another shirt. We got another shirt. So we got 3 shirts, man. Can't wait to rock it. I'll probably go ahead and model that out. Hopefully,
Nice.
they fit.
What size they send you, Ray?
Extra medium.
Not the extra medium.
Oh, what happened to my camera?
We lost you. There you go.
Looking-
There we
Autofocus.
go.
Blurry right there.
So yeah, check them out. I'm gonna go ahead and put the link on our IG. The King's
The
Child.
Child.
Hit my guy up. Thank you so much, Rod. And as far as real quick plug, I know we're moving very quickly in the year. It's already like halfway through February, and you've got an event that you're kind of just fast pacing right now. You're like
fast pacing,
man.
There's so much stuff going on. Trying to bring this together, and probably what I have less than 2 months to try to get this all figured out. Now the person I'm running it with kind of wants to like have a bigger venue, so now we're thinking about expanding. We got numerous people hitting me up on social about vendor spots. So if you could find the right space for all this to carry probably like 4 to 5 brands, it might be a popping event. So that's what I'm working on right now with all this, trying to see what I could bring in, because in the end of the day, it's about the community and helping people grow. So this is the whole big part, the whole bang for it.
What is it exactly? So can you explain exactly what you're trying to put together, and then maybe we can get a roll call out there and get some sort of a movement around it?
Yeah. So me and Martin, I don't know if did we ever show him live, or has he gone on the show? No, we just did that one night, right?
We never put that.
So Martin owns this brand called Popcorn LA. We're doing this collabo pop-up. Basically, it's going to be a release of our new stuff that's going to be coming in for spring. But for me, if you guys go, all my stuff is going to be really cheap, just because they're samples, and I'm just trying to promote it. So when it comes out in spring, you guys will be the first ones to have it. And he's throwing out some new stuff too. I think a couple sets of t-shirts and maybe some jackets and stuff like that. So, and then we're collabing on a piece too. So just for the event, it's called the pop-up. It's going to be held in Seattle. My goal for this is basically to release our new stuff and to build a community of new artists out there, or new brands that are in the streetwear community trying to blow up. So yeah, so hopefully that's the main goal for this whole thing. For the
but right now, I know you were trying to have it over there in Washington, where the Beacon's at.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot more interest, and you're feeling, and Martin's feeling that there would be a little bit more interest to actually get a much bigger space, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have for sure. But the thing is now we have to factor in like the vendor fees and all that stuff. If it's enough time for these people to get their stuff together in 2 months, just for this event. What else am I missing? So like the marketing, the promotion, and just basically pushing it. So we're really short of time and kind of late. So I don't know if March 23rd is going to be the official date. If we're getting more vendors, I'm thinking about moving it like towards April-ish, maybe even like the beginning of May. So that way we could prep for everything, because Cold Rise Media is going to be a part of it. We're going to be interviewing the vendors out there, putting them on a little quick 15 minutes Q&A. And then Raylene, she hopped on. So she's going to be doing like 3 of her songs out there. My cousin DJs. So Paulo, who's going to be DJing, and
Hype.
Rock Right. They're going to be on there. So
damn. That's a
little
full
party.
House,
yeah, it's going to be a little party from 5 to 9. So 4 hours, little event. But if you could push it past, maybe like 10, stuff could get intimate, probably pop off a little bit more. Yeah.
What you saying, Curly?
Oh, I was gonna. What are you doing? Like t-shirts type thing, or what?
Yeah. Yep. T-shirts, whatever, things that you're trying to push. I don't know. I did a couple pop-ups where they're selling like candles and stuff like that. I don't mind that, but probably trying to stick to the theme though, keeping just all fashion and apparel and stuff like that.
Yeah, that should be cool, bro. So I'm hoping you guys actually get that stuff together, because like I said, it'd be dope if we can actually live stream that thing and get some interviews on. I mean, there's so much talent out there. There's so many, creative people actually, especially in that area, just trying to get their own space and just trying to get their own shine and everything. Curly, Eric is he's the founder and owner of Creative Soul Apparel. He's and he's also he's also running the 11, what is it we call it, 11-9 jewelry.
Yep, 11-9.
So a lot of that stuff is like he's constantly hustling on the side, trying to get his stuff out there, and also not even just getting his product out there. He's just actually also trying to have a space for everybody can just have this collective and just put your stuff out there. That's
Yeah, the
really what it's
collective.
about. It's so hard to, as artists and as like, as also people that are out there that's trying to push your own merchandising and everything like that, ad space, getting really creative and content creation and getting a lot of notoriety and everything is getting so hard. So especially, with cats that if it's not your full-time job, it's you're still pushing that day job. And at the end of the day, it's hard to even motivate yourself to get out. So opportunities like these, venues like these, collective events like these are very important, at least in the community. I know a lot of people fuck with you. A lot of people fuck with the other people that's out that you're trying to push out. So the community should really gather around. And it's not like, it's something safe. It's something fun. Just take a look at some stuff. Put some stuff out there. So yeah, hopefully.
Exactly.
And we'll do something on our Insta to actually push that out, and we'll see what we can do for you, man. I appreciate you even sharing that stuff with us. Let's see here. I wanted to go ahead. I found the site for the King's Child. It's shoptkchild.myshopify.com. I'm gonna push this also on our IG. Take a peek at the stuff. The stuff that I really like. I get drawn to, coming from Seattle. I don't know what this thing is with sunglasses and everything. He's got really dope sunglasses. Some of the more unique designs that I've seen out there, and also he's got two necklaces that really resonate with me. Again, it's this one that says "Use your gifts." Got a little crown to it, and he's got another one that has a little crown as a pendant. And I think it's just very simple, very straight to the point, and very it's very inexpensive. So take a look at them, see if we can get a little bit more visitors to a site. All right. So this is gonna be a weird segue, just because it's like I sent out something on our Insta, because we've been kind of. This is around the time last 4 years ago when things started getting a little sideways, right after the Super Bowl. A little bit of information came out as far as like, hey, there's something coming from overseas that we got to kind of protect ourselves with. And before you know it, started just kind of taking over our lives and just for a good while, and still to this day, it's controlling our lives. And it's a touchy topic, because it caused a lot of there was a point there was causing a lot of separations, a lot of divides, which is COVID. And I was thinking about this. I've been thinking about this for a while, and it's just like there really hasn't been a forum or a platform for Discord around this thing. That's why I invited a lot of people, on our IG. Let's talk about it. We don't got to talk about anything other than your personal experience during that time, just because it was super traumatic for many, and some, the very, very, very few, it didn't really touch them a whole lot. But at the same time, it was hard not to be affected by it, right? So one of the things that I've always wanted to know is like how it was in the jails and the prisons, as far as like how everybody was affected by that. And that's why I had invited Curly. Curly's a very good friend of mine here in the area, and in a very short time, we've managed to connect at that level. And he's been very candid with me with regards to to a lot of the stuff that he's gone through. And then that was one of the things I actually asked him. I was like, and this was a very recent conversation that we had. It's like, hey, during that time, kind of just like we talked about this, I think, over the weekend. And I was like, during that time, kind of walk me through that whole experience of what you had, because we're out here, we're keeping up with the news, and like, there's crowds and there's people and there's kids and everything like that. But y'all were just in there and just news came through.
I just want to clarify that it sucked. I thought y'all had it bad out here with COVID. But it wasn't that bad. You know what I mean?
Where
Where
wasn't that? I mean, where you were at. No,
Yeah.
but you were telling me some stuff to where I was like, it was like if people heard what was going on in there, to where like how y'all were taking care of yourselves, it's just people lose their minds over here. So first off, let me ask you this: what was your first news? How did you first find out about it? That this was out there.
Oh, I think one of the correction officers came in, or it might have been the warden or something. They were like, "There's some, but we already heard it in the news and all that, right?" So when it was coming in the system, it was just like, like where everybody's like, "Well, you guys are the one that's bringing it in because we can't leave," And they're all like all paranoid. And just one day in, I don't know, early, probably December, they were just like, everybody put these sheets on your face. Wasn't even a mask, right? So like, what is this for?
Like what sheet? I mean, we're talking about like a pillowcase.
I mean, it's just a bed sheet. They just cut it up, sewed some made it look like strings, and then just tie it on your face. Like the top string. So it wasn't even tied like to the bottom part. It's not like a mask. It's weird. You look like a ghost or something.
It's like a veil.
Yeah, it's just
like
yeah, exactly like
It's like a veil.
Like a little Arabian harem.
Yeah.
In jail.
It was weird.
Damn, the budget was tough in there.
And everybody needed to wear it, right?
Everybody
at all times. Your little harem.
Yeah.
Like you would sneeze and that thing would just go up.
The only time you could have it off if you was in your rack sleeping. Yeah, you have to be late. You have to be laying down. It was weird. Like say if you're just sitting on your, sit inside your cell, on your rack, whatever. You have to have it on. You have to be like physically laying down to have it off.
Oh, like.
And, I mean, they like when you're going. I mean, if you're eating, they give you a pass on that, right? Showering, of course. So, but, yeah.
I mean, were people saying, "Man, fuck this veil, I'm gonna make my own"? Were people getting like gadgety with their stuff and coming through with some pillowcases and stuff?
Yeah. They were like, because they have like the laundry like for like sewers, other prisoners. So they would try to like rig it up, make it like super tight, throwing some fashion in it, I guess, whatever. It's still the same, still a sheet. It's not a mask, it's a sheet.
It's just a sheet. Yeah. And there was no regulations to what you were gonna put it on your face. It was just to kind of like minimize.
I mean, everything was new, so it wasn't like okay, and the N95s came out, right? So it's not like they're just gonna give prisoners N95s. No. That didn't come until I would say about a year later.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we
were wearing sheets for about a year.
They had a huge shortage. I mean, there was a big fight out here of where the N95s are going to be coming from. People were just stocking up on them. And then all of a sudden, like they couldn't produce them quick enough,
right?
That way, and the ventilators and everything like that. So with you guys in there, was there at a point panic?
Oh, of course, yeah. Because I mean, it was just everybody was catching it, like people. I mean, it was like really coming in. Because once it spread, it would just they would lock us down like months at a time to where like you couldn't go nowhere. You just stuck in your wing. They would bring you food. The only time you would go out is, I mean, it was to go shower, right? And they would do it to where like they would make you shower like every other day. Sometime it would be like third day, because they didn't want too much movement. But then it was like, well, we're not. I mean, like you guys are the one that's bringing it in, right? Like, we wouldn't have gotten it if it wasn't right. So. Yeah,
this is the guards,
and it got pretty bad. Like people's family, like from the outside world, would like call in because, we weren't getting the right treatment. Like we were just being sick. Like it was just spreading everywhere.
Damn, that's wild.
I mean, they can only segregate certain. Like if it's spread, then. It's like a certain prisons are different, right? The one I was at, it was just like a one hallway, you know, like it can spread real easily. So it's pretty bad.
So you were you doing the whole social distancing, and were you like bunking up with anyone?
They did that 6 feet thing where like, you know, like you had to like when they did let you out, they only let you out in like groups of 20.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so they try to do their best, but I mean, it's a dirty place, you know.
Yeah.
You can't.
So
it's not, you're walking in the Four Seasons or anything like that.
I mean, what was the process for, you know, if you did you get it in there?
I got it twice, I think. They just I don't know, just
They
let you
just put
split it out.
they just keep it. They at least give you meds and all that stuff.
They would put you in a single man cell. Like if you had it real bad, they'll segregate you.
Damn.
They'll put you they'll put you like in the infirmary room for like maybe a week or so.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Isn't there infirmary where like just the
that's where that's the hospital.
That's the end. I mean, that's just basically hospital. Okay, my bad. I just am dumb to that whole fact. So they sit there and they did their due diligence as far as like, you know, getting you out there, giving you enough. I mean, they give you the proper meds, right?
They do just the bare minimum, you know. It's not like you know, like I guess they'll get you the temperature test, and if your temperature is not that high, they'll go to, you know what I mean, because there was multiple people having it, right? So they just try to get the one that's really bad. And it's like,
you know, any cats that actually didn't make it?
Because I mean, there was a couple of guys there. One of the older guys.
Shoot.
They try to take care of the older one first, of course, because they were bad.
High risk.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that was the same thing out here. I mean, there's after kind of just the extreme panic of like, you know, everybody just, you know, every man for themselves. There's this realization. I was like, hold on, we got to, you know, get our wits about us and really understand who's actually, you know, being the highest affected in this. I mean, I think patient 0 was in Washington up, and then was it in Kirkland? And they had this nursing home up there, or like an old folks home. Yeah, it was at home, and that elderly person passed away, and then a cousin or it was a, and I'd hate to spread just, you know, just false information here, but from my understanding, it ended up reaching a middle school or high school over in Renton, up in the Highlands, and then from there it was boom. Then it's just started. They started closing borders. It started just popping up everywhere else. But that was the first case, which was over in Washington State. Now, do you recall around when you guys started kind of just seeing these things appear in your area, in the jail or in the prison?
I mean, you know, it's pretty much like the same. Like when it got worse, like, you know, of course we was watching the news every day, right? So it got real. I mean, everybody in there was like joking about it, like, oh, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, everybody think they're healthy in there, right? You know, we're working out. It got real serious. We had a officer that see, most of the officers, like, they don't really have to wear masks for some reason, you know, like it's just, well, we had one where he was just like, man, I'm not, you know, it's kind of funny and sad because he was talking a lot of shit about him not ever gonna catch it. So he ended up catching it and passed away from it. So it was pretty
damn.
That's when it got it was weird. So that's when it kind of got like real serious, you know, like, oh, this shit's for real. Like it's, you know, and then like after when that officer passed away, multiple officers was getting it, you know, the inmates were getting it bad.
Oh man, they're just spreading it.
When it got serious, like everybody was wearing a mask now, you know, like it wasn't a joke no more. Like it got normal, right? Just like out here, like you just wake up, put on a mask.
So that was kind of just the biggest spread during that time.
Yeah.
When people started, when they started getting like, you know, when that first started happening, you said that's when things just started kind of multiplying. And
because I mean the whole year of 2020, we were on lockdown like 8 months out of that year. like here, you know what I mean, here and there. Like we'll be on like 2 months, couldn't go nowhere. Couldn't even get visits, you know, like couldn't get.
Like what does that mean? Couldn't go nowhere. But you guys still had
you stayed in your wing. Like they brought everything to you. The
but
only
you couldn't
place
even go out in the yard or nothing.
you couldn't go to the yard, you couldn't go to work. Like you just stuck. You know, the only place that you can go is to go shower. That's it. Couldn't go nowhere.
Hot dang.
They didn't have like, you know, like because in there you know you can take like college courses, like, you know, couldn't go to school. The church wasn't open, like, you know, you just stuck, couldn't do nothing.
Damn, that's the worst.
I
didn't know that part.
It got pretty bad.
Okay, then it started. So when did you guys start kind of seeing like, okay, maybe this is starting to? Because I know it's easy for us to talk about it outside because we you know we have full on, you know, access to information and like you know news and off news and journal, all this additional information is out. We could kind of see the progress of like you know your vaccines and you know the numbers if it's going down and up. You guys are just sitting there like I'm locked up for 8 months.
I don't think it's that bad because when I came home in 22, I got delayed on my parole because of COVID. So when I came home, we're still wearing masks, and that was 2 years ago.
In 22,
we didn't just lose that. We lost that like a year ago, and that was crazy. People were like, "Oh, finally, not you know, I can take this mask off." But people still wear them though. I mean, you know,
there's
certain places.
I mean, I see it a lot, especially like on the plane, because you know, a lot of people's wearing it. Like,
well, I mean, I would assume like in jail, that's probably the easiest place to actually catch it, other than the plane, because it just the air just keeps recirculating. And I think it was kind of a how did you guys actually feel being in that situation for about 8 months? I mean, I'm sure you were stir crazy, but at the same time, you're like, well, I'm glad they're doing this because people are dropping, and I definitely want to be protected. Which side were there people that were like, man, fuck this whole thing, man. Just I'm gonna go out in the yard.
I was one of them, you know. I was the one that got tired. Like, man, this is bullshit. Like, you know,
like, let me just get sick.
Yeah, like just you know, we got to the point to where like all the inmates was like, just have the law stay here with this. You know, nobody go in and out. I mean, you guys are locking us down, right? Because I mean, they're the one bringing it. You know, we're not getting no visits. I mean, we're not going out, right? So
that's true. Yeah, they're the ones that's going home and out, and then
they're the one who's going home, coming back in. You know, but it's just that was just one out of, you know, so much prison in the world, right? I was just caught up in that time. And
so you were just in one location though throughout the whole thing, right? Because I know sometimes you get transported here and there, and just
I went to out of my 9 years. I went to like three different ones, but the place where the COVID hit, I was there for like 6 years.
Okay, so that one they weren't trying to transfer anyone out.
Yeah. But I mean, it helped out a lot. I mean, it sucked, right? But COVID kind of helped prison people that wanted to come home because they were letting people come home. You know, like so early release. Like, it was like he was getting like, you know, he was making parole. He was just getting, you know, or just like shit. We might as well just send him out, you know. And so it was a good thing because I came home during that time.
Yeah, a little earlier from that. Yeah, that's good, man.
So I kind of looked at it. It was a good thing. It was bad and it was good because, you know, it hit home too. We had I know some people that, you know, lost their lives over it, right? It's bad because, you know, like, you know, my parents was old, so I did want to come home. Like, damn, man, if they catch it, you know what I mean? Like, shit, anything can happen.
But you did have communication. You couldn't have the visitors, but you had so what was that like? I mean, did you guys have like just a couple hours or like 30 minutes?
Well, you have it's I mean it's kind of rough. You know, because it's like 2 phones and you have to share 2 phones.
Oof.
Sometime with like 54 people.
God damn.
And if you're like, you know, it's pretty much survival of the fittest, bro. Sometimes you can't use the phone, you know. It's just the way it is.
For the day. I mean, you just sit there like maybe tomorrow.
I've seen it to where like dudes just can't use the phone. It's like it's you know it's like it's politics, right? Put it like that.
It puts that it puts another layer of dynamics of actual like survival, like you said, survival of the fittest.
Yes,
and at that point, you really got to want that phone. You gotta have that. I guess that cred.
Somebody's gonna have to, you know, you're gonna have to.
Jeez, what a crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, it was a crazy time, man. I mean, inside there, I mean, I can't definitely relate. Over here, it was just a lot of there was a lot of one thing that I kind of walked away with that. I mean, it was insanity. It was just the feeling of what the heck is going on. People were just kind of there was a point where a lot of things just didn't make sense in what we were doing. Like, for example, it's like we're sitting here, if this is a pandemic, right? And it's, you know, it's a novel virus to where we've never seen it before. And we want to maintain it and contain it as much as we can. We're sitting there, and if it's so deadly, it's killing, you know, it's killing people left and right and everything like that. The coverage that we have on our faces, especially like, you know, what you guys had in jail, is like just some sheets. And for us out here for a long time, all we had were like just hospital masks that it wasn't adequate. Definitely not adequate. It literally says there on the case, you know, on the box itself, says this isn't for, you know, those types of things. You know, it's just basically to have like spittle filtrations and everything like that during operations, or like in some, you know, in most of those cases, the N95s were the ones that's actually supposed to protect you, and there was a huge shortage of that. But so the part that actually the first part were the mask, and even before that, they were telling you not to even remember when they announced it on the radio or on TV, don't even touch your face.
Yeah,
don't that was the
anything. Constantly wash your hands.
Very first part.
Yep.
And I was just like,
don't touch your eyes, your nose, or your mouth. Yeah, all that
Mm-hmm.
shit. They're like, do not touch your face.
And like, that was the first thing that came through. I mean, I saw the first time I seen anything about this virus was through media and postings of people just standing there. And this was in like Asia. I believe it was in China, and they were just standing there at like subways, you know, waiting for the subways for the metros, and they're just passing out on the ground, like just dying, or like just, you know, passing, right? And then that's the image that you're seeing coming through over here. Of course, you know, it starts kind of stirring things up. It's like, what the heck is this? And then when you start seeing that the reality is it's here, and here's what we're going to try to do. I mean,
there's definitely a lot of fear mongering on that, though.
There was, you know, because the numbers, at least in comparison to just the panic that was caused by, you know, by the news and the media and just, you know, and even word of mouth, I just felt like people got out of control, and then a lot of the solutions that they came out with.
Was it really like people were just overdoing it out here, or was it really bad? I mean, like,
I mean, to a certain extent,
you guys were in Washington, right? Like,
what would be considered overdoing it? Because there were people that was like people coming through like triple mask.
Oh wow!
And like you have like double mask, triple mask, because I mean that first mask ain't doing nothing anyways. Did
either one of you guys catch it?
I caught it. I caught it right before they even announced what COVID was. So I got it probably like in November, and then we went on lockdown. What was it, like February or something like that? January, February.
Yeah.
And they were just talking about the virus, and I was like, "There's no way, dude." I was out for 27 days. I lost 25 pounds. I couldn't eat, couldn't smell. It was like a roller coaster. You would get sick and then feel better, and then get sick again, and it was just hella frustrating because I was by myself. It was just me and my son, and that was the craziest thing. I was with Miles. He was about how old? Let's see. Was that 4 years ago? So he was about like he was about like 6 years old.
You got COVID now. What are you doing?
No, but he didn't catch it. He didn't get sick or nothing. So he was my company during this whole thing. So just imagine if I was alone, I would have lost my mind. So I could only imagine how you guys or what you guys were going through in there. You know what I'm saying? Like the only time you could take it off is if you're laying perfectly down, right? And then your quarters were like what, 8x8?
Like 6x8 maybe.
6x8? Yeah. Oh my goodness. And then you got no control about who could bring that in, because you said the security guards were going in and out. And it's probably how the virus got into the place that you're at. That's wild.
Well, we have medicine, we have Gatorade, we have
Oh yeah, yeah.
Y'all just like had a blanket and
non-aspirin.
tears.
Non-aspirin.
Yeah. So explain them what the non-aspirin is. You were telling me about the other day. Yeah, the aspirin and non-aspirin. That's the only thing you guys had there. It wasn't no NyQuil, DayQuil, Sudafed. So what is non-aspirin?
It's aspirin without the aspirin, I'm guessing.
So was that what you were taking? Were you?
Yeah, that's what they give out. I mean,
how bad was yours? Because I think I've heard some really bad stories.
I think mine was like for I don't know, a week and a half. I just had a lot of cold sweats. Like I was just shivering, like I just it was just bad.
At night, huh? When you're like trying
to night, I couldn't sleep.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
They want to eat.
So my son, my youngest, came home, and he had it. We tested him and everything like that. And that was when the tests started coming out. He had it. And then, and I basically, I'm the one that's going, I'll take care of him. I'll bite the bullet and everything. So I started taking care of him. I've always got this thing. I was like, yeah, even if I get it, I'm going to push through this thing. I'm going to be all right. And this guy was over it in like less than a day. I was so annoyed just because I was annoyed because I got it I felt it the next day, because we all got tested that afternoon. Because, for you to be even considered to go back to school for these kids, you got to pass, all these conditions and everything like that. Right. So after he got tested, we got tested, everything. They got the nose swabs. I was like, boom, I've got it. So that evening I said, screw it. I kicked my youngest out, and he was sleeping with his moms, and I think either his mom or his like on the couch or whatever, and I was sleeping in his room, and it was the sweats. It was like I couldn't stop shaking. It was just there's no way, and it was probably the worst headache. I mean, I've had at least a couple worse flus like that, but then I just have never had a worse headache. That was the thing that got me.
You get like brain fogs and stuff like that, and you don't know what's real anymore because you're just like trying to rest, but you can't. So you're super restless. You're sweating. Did you lose your taste and smell?
I did.
You did? That was worse, huh? It's just weird, right? That's how it affected your senses like that. Man, that virus was really bad.
The first 3 days, it was pretty rough.
Yeah. Yeah, that was and plus, well, for us over here, as far as the medications that was available to me, I mean, I was taking just the hardest stuff. I was like, forget it, man. Let's just go ahead and just knock me out for the next 3 days here, and then I'll see you guys on the 4th. But then, for y'all, it's just I don't know.
You just had to fight it out,
I have a comment in Insta from Harold. He's saying he said he still has no smell. Is that true, Harold? Can you pop on over to YouTube and join us over there? Because I know you were talking about that. So Harold is also a good friend of me and E. He goes by Double H and Double H44 on Insta, and he was talking about that before. I believe he had a pretty bad one. I know a lot of other people also that actually had some pretty bad ones. So mine was, I mean, I was done in like 5 days, and then 5 or 6 days, and I bounced back up. But just definitely lost a lot of weight during that time. But then that cough was there. It's just right here. You're sitting there just trying to cough the crap out of it, and it's just there. And that lingered for me for about like a month.
I don't remember if I had a cough or not.
You guys did you get the cough too? Because that was supposed to be the long COVID.
Nah, I
People
didn't
still
cough.
got that thing.
My thing was just mostly the smell, the can't smell and can't eat, no taste, and the cold sweats.
Yeah, man, I'm still tripping about that because like certain things just didn't taste right when and it I was scared for a second. I was like, man, am I gonna get it back? Like
It's
if
weird.
I
Like
just
it was like a lot of guys like that was in there. They never got it. You know, like they didn't. It was just
Really?
like, what the fuck? Yeah.
They already had the antibodies in it.
Sometimes
And that
no,
was
they
the
didn't.
thing.
They didn't come out with the vaccine for us until maybe a year after, like about a year and a half.
Mhm.
And for at first, it was just like, you know, it was like voluntary, right? You can just if you want it, and then after like, I mean, it was going on like the second year, like
Mhm.
towards 22, it's like they were making everybody do it. Like you didn't have to.
Yeah.
oh, so it wasn't even an option. You guys
No.
Wasn't
had to get
voluntary
it.
at that point.
Like the first year when we were getting it, they were like, you know, if you want it, you can, you know. And then like I said, like towards the beginning of, I mean, or the ending of 21, 22, they were making it was mandatory. Like you had like it was like if you don't take it, you can't work here, you can't get your visits. You know what I mean? They were forcing people to take it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So just
Because you know it's
don't
all that conspiracy, like you don't know what they're shooting up in you and all that stuff. So they were
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I'm not taking that, right?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was so again, it was a novel virus. And so now we're kind of moving along the timeline. It's like so we got it. Some people got it back to back sometimes, which was nuts, right? And then there was this push. I mean, there was like what like I think it was like 3 or 4 big pharmaceutical uh, giants that were actually trying to create this thing, fast track it. And mind you, these things, I mean, like even just the like one flu vaccine can take decades to even get past, right? So they're trying to fast track this thing. It was what Johnson and Johnson, Moderna, and Pfizer, and I believe there was a fourth one. I actually remember that because I had some stocks in them, and they were like they actually did pretty well. But once the viruses were out there, there were still a lot of questions as to like what is this, you know, because you guys fast track this thing to like 3 to 6 months, and they just got to pass the FDA approvals and there was basically I listened in and I started geeking out on this. I wasn't working during the time. I was in between. I had quit my job over at the company I've been working with for about 10 years. I wanted to kind of pivot to a new employment, and then COVID hits, and I was like, oh crap, okay, well, this is it right here. It's like I guess it's good that I'm not working, so I can just take care of the fam. But then during that time, as like I'm an analyst by trade, you know, I geek out on a lot of things, especially with data. So I started taking a look at this thing, started following, and I just like I was one of the people that was like, I don't know what you guys are actually fast tracking here, and I don't know how you guys came up with this if you've never seen this virus before. So I was very sketch about the vaccine, and I had already gotten it. So I just didn't. For me personally, I just felt like, you know what, if I've already gotten it, I've got the antibodies. Why do I need the vaccine if there's no, if it's not going to 100% like not have me transfer it to somebody else, or if it's not 100% not going to have me get it. So there was a lot of questions about it. But then there was a crowd, there's a group, you know, there's also the other side, you know, aside from my thought, that they felt like, you know, let's just try to get past all this stuff. Just go ahead and do it. Just do it because we're really trying to get past and go on to the next phase of this thing of us actually healing. And I understand that part, but I just didn't like, for me, like for you guys, especially in jail, it's like, you have no choice, man. It's like you're gonna have to take this because this is, you know, supposed to, you know, get us to the next, next phase to where it's no longer that type of a pandemic. It's gonna start lowering the numbers. Did you ever get yours, E?
Yeah, I had to get mine.
Yeah,
I didn't
for
want
work,
to
right?
because no, it was actually just to join my family on a trip. Like if you're traveling to Hawaii, you have to be fully vaccinated to even hop on their island. So I made the decision to get the single shot one was that Johnson and Johnson, just because I
J&J was
felt
the
like
bad one.
Yeah, and
It was
that's
the
why I
one,
felt
yeah.
like it's gonna be least effective. So shit, I don't know what they're putting in. I mean, it could be saline for all I know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what I was banking on. It's like, okay, this thing's not gonna be strong because you know it's only a single shot. But then, like you're saying, I had the antibodies because I had it right before this whole thing even spread it out and got all crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my whole thing about it. I was like, man, nah, I didn't want it. I didn't want it for the longest time, but I did it just to join the family to go on the trip.
Did you
Yeah.
get sick? Did any of you guys get sick from the shot? Like,
I
I
did.
got sick. I was sick for 3 days. Oh no, not 3 days. About 3 hours. Like it was just really quick. I was like, ooh, and bounce. I was able to bounce back.
Yeah. I heard some people actually had a worse time
yeah,
with the vaccine and stuff.
mine was,
Did you?
yeah. The
So tell
first
me
one,
about that because I didn't get
I
it.
think it
I
was
did. No, I got
actually both of them.
the. Yeah.
Mine,
Well, you
I
got.
mean,
Oh, you got 2
it
shots.
affected me for like 3 days. It wasn't as bad, but it was intense. You know what I mean? It didn't last. I mean, it didn't last like a week or so, but it was like an intense 3 days. Like,
But was it flu-like or what was the feeling?
it was the cold sweats.
Again.
Yeah, it was the cold sweats.
Yeah. Then I just have to go through that
It was
again.
different,
It's
you know, like it just like I'm under my sheet and I'm just shaking.
It's like a
It's
shot
hot
of
as
another
hell.
flu just to get
What's
the
wrong
other.
with you?
yeah, hit you with
No,
a
that's
bug,
wild.
give you the antibodies for the actual virus.
So, like I told you, I was investing during that time. I was investing in stocks, and also I was still geeking out. And that was the thing that, mind you, with my mind before, like in a in an employment to where my mind was constantly like going through some data and everything like that. I couldn't do that on my daily because I was in between jobs. I was geeking out on just real life stuff. It's like this COVID, this efficacies, these vaccines, the stocks and what's related to them. Let's make some money off this thing because that's really what everybody else was trying. Like everything was shut down. People still trying to trying to find cash or trying to make ways find cash. And that was like, you know what, I better get hip with this thing because I'm sitting in our home. I got to make some money off this thing because there's no work. So the more I dove into the pharmaceutical industry as far as their stocks and everything, the more I actually sat there in their calls. And so there was an FDA call for I think it was Moderna and Pfizer, and they were trying to get that approved. And the reason why I was on that call, it was a 15-hour call. I just had it in the background. It was the most boring thing I've ever done. I'm sitting there painting, the side of the house, just being on this call, just telling me an inkling of saying that, yeah, it's good to go because I'm gonna make some money off this thing because I had already positioned myself, right? It was one of those things to where if you get into this line of in this lane of the particular pharmaceutical company, because it was a race. It was a race to find the cure, and whoever found a cure, they're going to have the government was going to subsidize them, and they're going to basically go ahead and distribute it out. And so I was waiting. The stuff that I heard on those calls, that made me like, why would I want to put that into my body? In that fit in the like 13-15 hour call. I didn't, mind you, I didn't pay attention to, but they had throughout the whole of it, but they had doctors on doctors and doctors of people talking about like what happened at certain age ranges. And and they were doing it every 3 years. It was like, so if it was like they were doing like 13 to 16, like 17 to 19, and then on the way up. And the efficacy of that hit, it was so detailed. And the efficacy was like, how's this gonna work? And we don't, it's working right now, but the stuff that they were saying is like, we don't know what's gonna happen later on because you haven't allowed us to have this thing play through. How are we gonna know if there's gonna be any side effects, people's gonna get hurt off this thing if you haven't let it play through? Which is the reason why I was like, man, I don't know about this thing. But if everybody wants life to move forward, especially like you said, you want to travel with your family, you want to go, you want to go just even on a plane or even get accepted into, into a venue, you need to sometimes even provide, like to even eat, to go out and eat, you needed your card. You needed to just to have, a nice dinner out, you needed your card. So I was like, it just forced your hand. So I said, fine, just go ahead. I guess we're gonna ride together here.
I totally forgot about that, man. The whole card thing.
But for you guys, Curl, there was none. There was just no choice. But they gave you guys your cards though. And you just walked around. Yeah.
Oh, cool. At least you guys had cards. I'm good. Let me in.
As soon as you get No,
vaccinated.
but that was yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it came to a point to where it was like it was no choice. You know? Like
There was yeah.
either you're gonna do it or you're just gonna have. They're just gonna. I mean, they already took your freedom, so
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
all like everything else.
Don't you know? And the message during that time, it was like just a lot of the news networks were saying it's like, and the push was like, if you take this, you won't get it.
Right.
If you take this, you will not get the vaccine anymore. I mean, I've seen multiple replays that you're not going to get the vaccine anymore,
People are still
or you're
getting
not.
it.
Man, people that are like quadruple boosted are still
That's
getting
like
it.
my mom.
You've got Whoopi Goldberg on TV. She got it. She was like quintuple boosted, and she still got it. People were getting it still. And so, you know, I mean, you had people that you're supposed to trust on TV. Even the president during that time was saying, if you get this, you will not get the virus anymore. I mean, there's been replays of that thing. And it's just, you put it in your body. You don't know really what's in your body. I know what COVID was, but I don't know what I just put in my body is supposed to help me out. But I'm still, you know, people are still getting it. People are still kind of just, I don't know. It's hard to walk that back. But it was definitely a dark time. It was,
Yeah.
you know, is very traumatic. And a lot of people don't want to talk about it still. And I can understand, you know, there was very hurtful to, you know, there was a lot of people we lost. But it's just, I think to finally get through it, you got to actually talk about what you were feeling during that time. There was one thing that you kind of missed out here, Carl, and I don't know if this is a thing. I would imagine at a smaller scale, this is a thing in where you were at. Was there some alienation of like some people that were like, you know, like I guess anti-vaxxers? You didn't have a lot of
No, you did.
choices.
It was guys that were like, no, I'm not doing it. You know.
I mean, did you get checked for it? Were people like, you know, if you ain't doing it, we're just gonna whoop your ass?
No, I mean, not really. Like, it wasn't
Did it ever
like
get to that?
it wasn't. It was. I mean, it was just like, you know, nobody like they were just like. I mean, that was your choice. Or you don't want to do it, don't do it. I was one of them. I really didn't want to do it until my family. You know, all my family was doing it. You know, and I'm like, shit.
I guess.
You know, and
yeah, I guess it's cool.
It was kind of like, you know, they kind of put it in your like head, like, you know, it was like kind of like forcing, like how I said it was forcing.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, man, like, you know, it might look good on my parole, right? If I take the vaccine, they're like, well, he's vaccinated, you know, we might just let him go home.
Yeah.
So that came into my thoughts too, but it was more like it was more of my family, like, you know, my mom was like, go ahead and just do it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What is it gonna hurt? I'm like, I mean, what is it, right? I mean, everybody had that question of what is it?
Yeah. That was the thing. It was just, that was my question. What was it? But then it's just, the answer was like, no, just take it. We're trying to move through this stuff. It's like, well, what the hell is that? But we ended up just having to do it. I mean, my job needed me to do it. You know what was, my wife still laughs at me about this. The main reason, and I was going to get it anyway. I was going to get it for work because they needed that. But what had me get it was that we were joining a bowling league and they wouldn't let me bowl without it.
Oh damn!
And I was like, oh man, we had just started it, right? And then all of a sudden, and it was starting to kind of slow down. You know, COVID numbers started to go down. And then all of a sudden, like we were like, I think 2 or 3 weeks in, and Governor Inslee up there over in Washington was like, nope, numbers are starting to go back up. You guys got to get the shot, or else you're not going to be able to be in these, in these entertainment centers and all that stuff. So that was it. I was like, well, you ain't gonna take my boat. This is the only thing that's keeping me out right now. So I said, screw it. Let's just go. Screw it. Poke me.
Screw it. Fuck it. I'm ready to go do things.
All right, whatever. Do what you need.
And then months after that, oh, we're just taking this away. You don't need your cars. You don't need a mask. Everybody's free to do whatever they want. Gotcha.
It is one of those things. It's like, here we are. Here we are. Like, I mean, I guess the numbers went down enough. People weren't passing away. I mean, there's still questions about those numbers. What, I mean, the
was in the millions, right?
Or what?
The deaths, the death tolls
Oh, death tolls.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
see how they were handling those in other parts of the world? Let's say like India, I think they were burning bodies because there
yep.
were people just dying so constantly and every day. They didn't have places to put the bodies. They were just throwing them into a pit and get rid of that. That's what they're doing, right?
I mean, that's all
Incinerating the
you. Yeah,
bodies.
yeah. I remember that. I remember that. And there was they were burying them, like they were burying. There was some
And they
footage
had to,
that
a
it
lot of them,
wasn't. They
they
weren't
had
even digging.
to be cremated, right? Like you couldn't. A lot of places they
They
were
couldn't do it
cremated.
fast enough. And with a lot of the lockdowns and everything like that, imagine being a center for just a crematory. I think that's what it's called. You couldn't do it fast enough. So we got Robbie. Hey, what's up, Robbie? Robbie's asking, did the vaccine only work for what variant COVID was out at that time? The vaccine actually didn't work for that variant COVID during that time because look, I mean, I can say that confidently because look people are still having it. People still got it afterwards. They
It's
got
a
it
different variant now. It's
again and
like something else now.
well, so the actual COVID-19
COVID-19.
was the actual one that was getting everybody, right? And so that was where all the pharmaceutical companies just started getting. It's like, let's get this one, let's get this one. And the one that I was following the closest was they're in India and they already had something that was close enough to where they can actually manipulate the actual vaccine enough to target the coronavirus, right? COVID-19, because coronavirus is also, you can find that in a cold. So COVID-19, that's what it was. They were trying to target just the actual COVID-19 for that particular one. I think it was like Bharat, Bharat, was in India, but they weren't the ones that got fast tracked. It was Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson and Johnson. And then once Johnson and Johnson was out there, I didn't follow Johnson and Johnson enough. I followed like two, but then Johnson, once they started, like that was the first one that they actually started, giving out. But then they started taking them away and putting Moderna because Johnson, people were having strokes on the
Oof.
spot. People started to get, and it didn't yield the best returns. So Moderna and Pfizer were I ended up getting, I believe, the Moderna. I got it twice. That one was, yeah, I didn't have anything. I didn't have anything after that. Um, Pfizer is the one that actually came out with the biggest contract just because they actually were the cheapest. And mind you, take a look where the money went from the Super Bowl. Pfizer put a lot of money in there, so it's obviously paid off, right? So Pfizer walked away with kind of just the biggest contract from that whole thing. So I don't know. And to answer the question, did the vaccine only work? I mean, from what I've seen and from the experience and with everything else that's happening right now, how did it work? I mean, did the vaccine
Right.
really work to where it's like you didn't get COVID anymore? People still got COVID.
It just, well, I mean, not a lot of
That's
people
just
didn't get down. Like, is this? How did that just
not a
happen?
lot of it. Just, well,
It
the
just
numbers
went
all of a
away.
sudden just started dropping.
It just went
If
away.
if the vaccine didn't guarantee you not getting it or giving it to somebody else, that was literally like it didn't guarantee that. How did the numbers go down? So the others, there's another, the side that actually took a look the numbers into it, was that there's this feeling that the numbers were inflated to begin with. Now, I'm not trying to like minimize that that shit was not bad. That shit was bad. I mean, you saw it. We all saw it firsthand. We felt it firsthand. That was the worst experience of a year as a country and as like, as a society that we dealt with. There's no minimizing that. But at the same time, it's like when you're sitting there and you're making it bigger, as far as like, I mean, there was reports to where, I mean, they had this on they were reporting this on the news and saying, if you, like, the deaths, in COVID, if you passed away, if you were driving, got in a car accident and you had COVID, they would count that. If you had a pre-existing condition, like if you had like if you're already in hospice, right, and you were already in hospice, is like the last line.
Mhm.
If you're under hospice and then there was COVID, if you had any type of like COVID like related symptoms, they would count that. So it's just there was a lot of questionable areas there. And then also the, you know, the you can't the glaring stat of what happened to the flu numbers. So every single year the flu numbers, there's always like in the millions of where just the common flu would, you know, would kill off some folks, unfortunately, if you know, if you're not in the best shapes. um and every single year the numbers were high on that, and then in 2020 it was minuscule. The actual numbers for just the common, like just the flu, was very minuscule. So where did those numbers go? I mean, the flu didn't disappear. So that there was a lot of questions around that. And again, I'm not trying to minimize anything or just what anybody else actually like experienced throughout that time. It was a very, very low time for everybody. But there's also, you know, hindsight and taking a look back. It's like, well, it was like you got to sit there and kind of apply some like just common question. It was like, what the hell did we really go through? And what was that?
Yeah.
You know? So Robbie is saying the numbers go up dramatically and they're forcing vaccines again. Would you take it? That's a good question.
I wouldn't.
That's a good question. It would, so Robbie, it would, like right now, it would depend on what the numbers, like what numbers are going up. Is coronavirus back? Is COVID-19 back? Because would I take it? The same vaccine? Probably not, because you haven't shown that vaccine actually worked. You know, to be very honest, like again, you've got triple, quadruple boosted people that are actually still getting it. So it's like, tell me what the point is, unless you actually can, you know, come up with a better vaccine this time around.
But I mean, isn't the number like the one that did have the one that have the vaccine and have gotten it again? They're not dying, bro, right? I mean,
You got a point there. I
think there was like one or two that had the vaccine and still caught COVID and died, right? Something like that, or is the number higher than that?
I'm sure there's higher numbers than that, because I mean, at this point, here's the thing: we're no longer tracking it at that level. Just because it's no longer the pandemic, is no longer considered as pandemic. Pandemic is categorically, you know, just a certain amount of numbers, you know, and the World Health Organization is actually the ones that say this is a pandemic. Once the numbers start going below that, then, you know, it's just like, and it's controlled at that point. So it could be true what you're saying. It's like if somebody got it, then got the vaccine, and then somebody died. I don't know who's tracking that anymore. And to this point, I don't know if I'm not tracking it, because it really just doesn't benefit, you know, the current situation. But so, Curly, you said you wouldn't take it if the numbers go up dramatically.
No.
So let's say it's shot up. Let's say it is back. Like, let's say if it was coronavirus, it was back this year, like next month.
I mean, why would I don't know about that. Like, why would I take the same vaccine?
That's my question.
Is it going to be a new one, like something better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't even know if it's better. Like, I don't know if they kept.
Like, if it comes to like my situation, like, you know, the job I have, like, right, I have to take it. Then shit, I have to take it.
Yeah, especially you travel all the time, so it's like you're gonna be on the plane. You're gonna have to go through
like,
that.
To this day, like, you know, like a Verizon site might be like, hey, do you have your card on you? Or, you know, you can. They ask for like tests, like, when's the last time you got tested? Can you prove you got a negative result? Shit like that.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, I mean, I haven't been to a site to where like they're asking for that, but they can, you know, like, hey, you don't have a negative test result to prove, and you can't work tonight, or you can't be at the site. So,
how about you, Robbie? Robbie, I know I'm hoping you're still with us here. Would you take the vaccine again? I mean, I don't know. There's some people that have never stopped. People are still getting boosted.
Boosters.
My in-laws are still. I believe they're still getting boosted.
What is it? How many is there now? Like 5 boosters?
I don't know, man. I lost track. I think it's just additional, and these boosters aren't even for the original coronavirus, the COVID-19. I think it's just for possible variants. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, also, because I might just be spewing. How about you, E? Same question that Robbie had posed.
Probably not. Listen, like Curly had a good point. It's like, why would I want to get the same vaccine that I already got vaccine in the first place? You know what I'm saying?
Because it
So
might
no.
have worn out. How about it might have worn out? That's why
Oh,
you get like
our
boosters
vaccine
and
has an expiration date, and we
I don't know.
had
I
to get
mean,
it.
well, that's why we have flu shots every year, right?
Yeah, I'll
So
probably try my best not to get it, but if it's like a certain situation, say like work or something, and I had to get it, and they were paying for it, yeah. But if I had a choice not to, in a perfect world, no, I wouldn't.
yeah, I think it all came down with the key word was just the choice, because there
Mhm.
was, the people that chose not to. I mean, take a look at what happened in China. Take a look at what happened in China and even Australia. I mean, it's like, talk about trauma. That did you like, with you seeing how the rest of the world was treating the people that were number one that got it. They built camps for them, and they just kind of just grabbed them, and they would check them with temperature checks, and if they registered at a high temperature, they just grab them and go and just take them away from the kids. They just sequester them in these places. And then also, if you didn't want to do the if you didn't want to have the vaccine, oh, they'd force the hell out of you. And it was pretty graphic. Over here, it was just basically kind of just an alienation and a little bit of a divide
Mhm.
of like how you would be treated if you didn't. I mean, majority of the people that I knew ended up getting the vaccine. Again, I got mine, and I don't know. I mean, I don't believe I got it afterwards, but I don't know. So in on IG, uh let me see. Got a comment here. Powered by Jabs. What's up, Jane? So that's Jane, the homegirl. I took the first booster years past, then I got real sick this summer with COVID. Then I'm back on the booster. From what I've heard, boosters are upgraded to fight the newer variants. So Jane, on that, with my question on that, when you say you had COVID, is COVID just a catch-all now, or as far as like what the corona, like COVID-19 was, and then plus variants? So if you can answer me that. So the question is, these boosters, is it now just to catch all COVID-19 plus any potential variants? Because I guess if the boosters basically prevent you from getting 19, or prevent you from giving or getting 19, and plus the additional like variants beyond it, I guess for the most part it can't be bad. But at the same time, on the other side, people are still getting it. I mean, what's his let's see, we had, oh, I can't even scroll up. Oh, missed it. Richard was watching us a little bit earlier on IG, and he had mentioned that he got it for the first time. He had COVID for the first time, and he ended up getting not too long ago, and he ended up getting the shot, the more recent shot. Yeah.
Oh, he didn't want to get it again. If it was his first time and he hasn't felt it yet, oh yeah, for sure. He's like, oh yeah. If there's a vaccination and you're feeling that you don't want to go through that, I get it. I mean, that's probably would be another reason why I would want to get a shot, because I don't want to
Yeah.
be sick like that again. That was the worst feeling.
It was definitely not nice. I mean, I don't think anyone
Yeah.
would
I don't want
anyone
to
would want to go through that
think
again.
about it.
But yeah, but just to circle back to that, and so here, I'll preface it with this. If the numbers did go back up, and we ended up having to revisit the vaccine situation, I think there needs to be a re-education or an updated education of current vaccine that we're going to be putting it. Because I mean, during that time, I think one of the main reasons why people didn't trust it is because we had no fucking clue what the hell it was. And plus, here, mind you, the person that fast tracked it, the one in charge of fast tracking it, was the same person that they didn't that a lot of people didn't trust to run the country for the next 4 years after that. So here's this thing to where Trump was sitting here working with all these industries, and basically every 2 or 3 days he would be in front of the mic saying and giving us an update. And he had this crew, right? He had Fauci and Burks up there, like, Dr. Burks. And I remember it, like, I would sit there and watch the full thing. I would watch the full briefing of where they were at with this thing. And there really wasn't a lot of information about just what was in these things, and they were fast tracking. And then before you know it, they were like, no, 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 this is too fast, we don't know what the heck it is. And then the administration changed. And as soon as once the administration changed, the message was, let's all take it because it's okay now. And that's kind of what I was feeling around that. So I was like, okay, let's just go ahead and take this fast track thing that that we don't know anything about. If there was a re-education this time around, like a true education, I was like, okay, this is what it is, this is what it attacks. And it was, and it was definitely beneficial, and we understood it. Be like, yeah, you know what, this actually makes sense. I might mess with it. Because the flu shot is every single year, and that's just the same thing I would imagine as a booster that captures just the flu. Now we got this equivalence of these flu shots as a booster to take care of COVID and all the other variants. I think that would be fine, right? I think that's a
Mhm.
that's a middle ground there, but you still got to tell me what the heck's in it. All right, what an exhausting conversation.
Well,
How you guys? So So again, let's go back. Let's tie it to the Super Bowl. 4 years ago, the Niners played KC. A few weeks later, we got hit with the pandemic, and that was the same
Mhm.
year to where it was Biden versus Trump. We got the same scenario now, Biden versus Trump, and then you got the Niners versus KC. That's already ended. Do you feel are you at all concerned of what could be next for us this year? Because there's already so much, as far as that's going on in number one, politics, and also in the world. There's a lot of conflicts that we're dealing with right now that the US is involved with.
Mhm.
I mean, it hopefully it's not another pandemic, but is there anything that you're bracing for in this particular year, like 4 years later?
Hoping for no war. That's probably the biggest
I
thing
mean,
out of
yeah,
everything. Because it seems like we're due for one, but we just don't know how crazy or drastic, this war is gonna be, and how, what kind of, what is it like, weaponry and stuff like that. Because
yeah.
now we're in a modern age, right?
There won't be no, like, we've had this conversation, bro. It's like
Shit could get hacked. Yeah, we could get
guys,
go to like a
there
digital
will be
war.
no there will be no war. Like, if it got to that point, there'd be
Mhm.
end. It would just be end. There'd be no war.
yeah.
It would just be click end. I mean, you've got so much high powered, super, I mean, levels of weaponry that we can't even imagine that they're holding up from us. I mean, there's a lot of this stuff that's out there. They're saying it's UFOs, and it's aliens and everything. That could
Oh
be just
yeah,
us. That could be us, man. They're just testing stuff up. But then, yeah, I actually watched
aliens.
the Tucker Carlson interview with Putin, and there was one line in there, and I kind of fast forward through all stuff. It was dense. It was a history lesson of stuff, and I was like, and there was one line in there. It's like, what, it was along the lines of, like, what would stop this thing? It was like, well, what would stop it? It's just the end. And he said, it's like, we've been developing such high power weaponry beyond, like, imagination, just because there was, like, this conversation between, and this is going to get dry. I don't want to get towards that, but what he had mentioned was that it would just be the end, and that he wants to avoid getting in that situation, because it also means the end for his people, the Russians. It's like, why would you want to put yourself in a situation like that? So yeah, there's no war. It's a click, man. It's a click. So what do you think, Curl? Are you bracing to anything, or are you just kind of like, you know what,
Bracing for Trump to be president again, bro.
that you, they're trying to keep him off. They're trying to keep him off the ballots.
Yeah, that's so crazy that they could just be like, pick a state and accept that. No, he's not going to be on the ballot. Like what?
Yeah. Hey,
What?
oh, let me ask you this. Okay, so while you were in the pen, what was the political temperature over there? It was like what was the sightings?
Not too many guys talks about that.
No, huh?
There is.
I wouldn't think so.
It's not like a topic. You know?
No.
You might have some guys that like that, but then that's if you want to have that conversation. It ain't. We don't really have conversations about that.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine it's hard to stay in the know. We know with the limited time that you have to, like, with the actual, like, the news and the TV to be at the very least.
Because I mean, it's always on sports. The only time we watch the news is if it was necessary. So it's not like it's all about sports.
Were you in there when Kobe passed away? How was that?
Yeah.
Well,
didn't you just get out when Kobe passed?
I mean, it was like I said, they still had us wear masks.
No, Kobe.
We was on lockdown when I came home, so we was on lockdown because of COVID because we had
Kobe Bryant.
And I mean, my release date got delayed because of COVID. So as of February of 22, yeah, it was still real in there.
No, Curly. Kobe Bryant. Were you still in there when Kobe passed?
Oh, Kobe Bryant. Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. I was in there when Kobe Bryant lost his life. I was coming up for parole. That story.
That was wild.
That was
Another wild.
Story.
That's a different story.
When, like, Kobe had passed and COVID had, it was like really going on, and a lot of guys like was coming home. They were making parole, and I was coming up on 2 set-offs already, which is my parole got denied, and I was waiting for another answer. And, a lot of this stuff happened. I'm thinking like, man, I should be going home this time. And I got denied again, like 2 more years after that. Well, yeah, but I got a total of like 3 or 4 set-offs. And then finally, like, when I finally did make parole, it was an outbreak. Like a lot of inmates was getting COVID. So they locked the unit back down, and I got stuck for like another month.
Yeah, how frustrating.
It was, it's like, shit, just let me go home. Like, I don't have COVID, but just let me go home. It was like, nah, the unit has to come back up. Like, we're not allowed to release nobody until it's, over 50% that, because they were testing everybody like on a weekly basis to make sure, like, hey, if it's like 60% of negative tests, then we'll open the unit back up and we'll start running it, as normal. And the people that needs to get released can get released. I'm like, shit, man, I don't have COVID, bro. You just test me. Like, just let me go home. I don't have to worry about this.
Yeah, just let me back.
It was bad, Not.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm bracing for something this year. There's just so much going on. There's so many conflicts right now. You got what's going on in the Middle East right now, and you've got just the things are escalating or in Ukraine and Russia, and then like just freaking Yemen, and you still got I think it was like Korea, no, not Korean, but Taiwan situation. We're just sitting here printing money and sending stuff over there. We can't even fix our dang borders right now.
Ray, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm gonna have to leave y'all.
Of course, bro. I appreciate you even hanging with us this whole time. So
I'm like in a fitness center, bro.
I so much appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no problem,
just making this work. So definitely we'll link up when you get back into town.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Hopefully we get to kick it. bro.
Maybe Sabati Fest. Maybe Sabati Fest.
Texas, or we have a couple of sites in Seattle, man. Well, one site and the other one's like in Polaris. They might send me out there.
Like, oh yeah, you come down. Let me know, man.
You know.
Show you the city. There's a few places out here, man, that people like to hang out. So
Well, see, we have, like I said, we have a site. The company they haven't sent me out there yet, so I might try to request it. Like, hey, I'm gonna go to Seattle, man. Can you just send me there?
yeah,
Seattle's spot. You love it. You love it.
Yeah.
It's Seattle. It's a nice
All
place
right, you
to
guys,
visit.
be good, and
All right, bro. We'll talk.
come back on again. I don't know when.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll get you on.
All right, guys.
We're still going to do an all Texas episode, so
Oh yeah,
we'll get that going.
Let me get in that one. I might be in a I might be in a better environment.
Fitness center. All right, man. Be safe.
All right, guys.
Later, bro.
Bye.
Curly.
Yeah, I was asking him all day. You know, he had a flight and everything. He's in Arkansas right now. I was like, man, you need to hop on because I really want to. You know, I want that perspective of what was going on inside. Just because I mean, we out here. You know, there's a lot of little battles during that time that we had to go and deal with, and they're over there like just. I mean, imagine 8 months just. Just
sitting there in a, what do you say, 6x8 room,
6x8, just being there, and then like
with a partially made mask out of sheets.
Like, yeah, he said just a sheet with a drawstring or something like that.
Looking like a bandit. Wow. I mean, that's what I was really using too. So like the mask I was wearing was made out of cloth, but it wasn't like that though. So man, that's rough. He said, what is it? Every month they would get to do certain things because it'll just be like lockdown was super crazy or something like that. Oh, waiting to get on the phone. That shit is wild. I was like, oh my God. Sometimes, how are you going to contact your family? Let them know you're okay. Keeping them updates like, okay, I got sick, so I'm feeling a little bit better now, but you don't have the opportunity sometimes. So that's crazy.
Yeah. So, hopefully nothing crazy happens this year. I mean, I don't know. It just feels inevitable. But then, you gotta you gotta think about those people that are in, that are in the pen and everything like that. So it's definitely something else. Let's end this kind of in this conversation. When I put this out there, as far as like, just conversations around our experiences during COVID and everything like that, I think there should be, if you're open to share yours, if y'all want to talk about it, if y'all actually want to, hop on and tell us about if there's things that you disagree with, if there's things that kind of just like upset you about, what we're talking about and how we felt during that time, especially with vaccines. There was a battle back then. I mean, it really was. And it was just like now hindsight, there's a lot of division during that time. I mean, I lost a few friends during that time just because of, kind of just my stance during that time. And it's just, I'm a hard-headed guy. And it's like, you're not going to force me nothing. I'm a grown adult, man. It's just, but I also want to have like just open conversations around those. And during that time, everybody was just so ready to just pounce on you because we were all scared. That was it. It was fear. I was scared what the heck is going to happen next. And, and what am I putting in my body? And then everybody else is scared. Is like, I just want to move forward in life and, get past this.
That was the biggest thing. What everybody was saying is like, I just want this to be done.
Yeah.
I just want it to be normal, right? Yeah. I mean, things are we're kind of back to normal now. Except for some people are still wearing a mask. I get it. It's a horrible thing to catch. Yeah. Nobody wants that.
And ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you want to protect yourself, have self-protection and everything like that, you can go triple, quadruple boosted with 3 or 4 masks. I still see people like wearing a mask in their car by themselves. So it's like, do your thing. But at the same time, it's just, we can't be divided in like how we're looking at each other in those things. And I think, during that time when there was just craziness and, our heads weren't on straight, we just wanted to move forward and just be okay as a society and community. I understand, just being frustrated and upset if you don't want to go with the flow, but we can't take other people's like, rights, away and their own like opinions, So diversity isn't just, in race and nationality and, and it's also diversity of thought. And we also got to be very open to that. And I think there was a point to where we kind of lost that a little bit. But now I'm, we're back around. Everybody's kind of just high fiving and palling again, and hopefully we don't get to that same step again.
Right.
Well, E, let's go ahead and wrap this up, bro. It's been a very involved and a lot of focus on what Curly was saying. I was again, I want to thank Curly for hopping on with us here and sharing his insights and his experience. So what you got going on next, E? I'm planning the next show for next week. I think we're gonna have guests again, and like with a panel again. I think that's gonna be a fun one. Just not a lot of people wanted to join us this week, just talk about the serious topic, but I'm glad, we had our people on. You got anything going on this week? No,
nothing planned. Finally, Valentine's Day. So
you in trouble, boy.
Yeah, I did some Valentine's Day stuff.
Oh yeah. Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. Oh, wait a minute. That's right.
That thing.
Okay. That thing.
We didn't talk about that.
Yeah. Finally taking a break. Hopefully taking a break from like all this drinking. It's been like 4 weeks consistently just drinking over the weekends. And I think
old,
it's catching up to me. Yeah.
Getting old.
Because I was beat the whole day today. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I went through all that. Was it worth it? Maybe. I don't know. I was there to watch the game, but I ended up just getting blasted.
You got your money right from last night. It was the celebration.
Yeah. Oh yeah, celebration. Yeah. Lunar New Year. So happy New Year to everybody out there who celebrated.
And like for myself, I don't know. I mean, so the wife and I are probably gonna just get some real bomb sushi. We found this place over in downtown Fort Worth. Solid sushi spot. Probably it's up there. So we're probably gonna do that again. For our belated. I mean, Valentine's Day is just it's just wildness during the 14th with the restaurants and everything like that. So we just, if you've been together that long enough, you could put it off a couple days because
yeah,
for sure. Valentine's all year long, anyways.
It is.
So yeah,
it is.
Well, shoot,
all year long.
Let's hit the outro on this, bro. Let's go and have you rest up. I know you're hurting from last night, so I'm gonna let you go. Everybody else, thanks for hanging with us. Everybody that came through and was, and just was chiming in. Thank you so much for joining us. I've got the messages, and thank you for engaging with us. Appreciate y'all. One more shout out to the King's Child. Please take a look at them again. Here, I'm gonna show this up on the screen.
Dope
stuff for a minute. Shop tkchild.myshopify.com. Thank you, Rod. Appreciate you. We'll connect again soon.
So is Rod local from where you're at?
Yeah, he's
okay.
He's
dope.
He's got a he's got such a solid story. I want to get him on the show and I think I eventually will.
Dope. Yeah.
He was no, I'm gonna save that because Rod is such a solid guy that I think his story itself, that's why his clothing line actually resonates with me. So I definitely, I appreciate him. I appreciate every time I get together with him. I appreciate, just his stories and his knowledge and just his giving, his givingness for the swag. I can't wait to wear it. All right, let's go ahead and round this up. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you guys next week, Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central Time. Peace.
Oh my God, dude, I gotta pee so bad. Hold on.